within the past 24 hours, you have one of the most historical debates that just took place, where you have a bunch of memes that have spawned over the tag team match that was against Donald Trump, such as this right here. For those that didn't see, we're going to be taking a look at that momentarily. You also have mainstream media turning on Justin Trudeau. You have our immigration minister who admits that the T word, the really bad guy who makes things or wants to make things go boom, that was plotting that massive boom potential attack in America. He was a Canadian, or at least was entered into Canada through a student worker program. Oh yeah, we got a whole lot of things to look at today in this video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. We are en route to 500,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane to think about. But I want to thank everybody for getting us past the 400,000 mark and heading for that 500,000 here. Might get that before the next Canadian election. And if you want to support the channel above and beyond just subscribing and liking the videos, you are more than welcome to join the membership program, which is linked down below in the description, or just click and tap that join button. And without further ado, let's get into it. So I'd like to start off the video with the polls. You got Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre sitting at 212 projected seats with a bottom line at 181, top end at 234. Justin Trudeau at 77 projected seats. The Bloc Québécois at 36 projected seats. And Jagmeet Singh at a whole whopping... Hold on, I have to zoom in every time. It's such small numbers. Everything about Jagmeet's really small, except his ego. 16 projected seats. Holy smokes. And then 99% likely across the board for the Conservatives of winning the most seats and for odds of a majority government. So the polls in Canada are looking good, but what's not looking good in America is the fact that Taylor Swift and her hundreds of millions of fans are now going to be voting for Kamala Harris, because last night, moments after the debate, you have Taylor Swift says she'll be voting for U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris in November's presidential election. Oh, that is not very good. But speaking of not very good, we have some more bad news. So I posted this on X moments during the debate, where to me it felt like it was ABC News versus Donald Trump. It was not a non-biased mediator. They were trying to fact check Donald Trump, and they did it many, many, many times. Not once did they do that for Kamala, and that's going to be presented as with the rhetoric that it's Kamala is not worthy of being fact-checked. And that's just simply not true. She spread a lot of lies. There was a lot of very suspicious things about Kamala Harris, and one of them has surfaced moments after the debate ended, such as this one right here. You have these weird earrings of hers. I know this is going to sound super crazy conspiracy, but these earrings of hers are actually found to be this right here, these Nova earbuds that are made to look like earrings. So I don't know if it's actually true, but it certainly does seem like that's the case. And if that is the case, that is highly, highly illegal, because the whole debate was supposed to be without any assistance, any notes, knowing what any of the questions are, and any form of communication with your party. But after all of that happened, you had Donald Trump was in the war room, so to speak, afterwards, and he has this to say about Kamala and the debate.
Her campaign is saying tonight, Washington Post is reporting, that she wants a second debate. What's your answer?
She lost. She wants it because she lost.
Do you have an answer?
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. But if you won the debate, I sort of think maybe I shouldn't do it. Why should I do another debate? She immediately said, we want another debate. That's, you know what happens when you're a prize fighter and you lose? You immediately want a new fight.
You want a rematch.
You want a rematch. The guy that won is sort of happy and thinking about it.
Would you be inclined to say yes, or you
maybe
don't know?
If it was on a fair network, I would do that. But
I think let Hannity moderate it.
Yeah, no, I think
like I did Newsom and Ron DeSantis.
I think it would be fair. You would be fair, actually.
I would be
you
fair.
Want to know the truth.
I'd let you both talk. I'd let you go at each other.
I thought they would be fair. They weren't, but I felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
We have the best policy. She has no policy.
Her campaign.
Right. And that's how a lot of people feel. And I said this at the end of the live stream for the debate. I really feel like the whole debate should have been about those two candidates. We want to hear Trump debate Kamala. We don't want to hear Trump then silenced and Kamala then silenced and Trump then silenced and Kamala then silenced. The whole point is for them to debate and square off as close to a boxing match, or in this case, a verbal boxing match, as we can get. And that really was not the case at all. You had a bit of a WWE scripted showdown take place, and that's what an entire, not nation, but world saw. It was very humiliating. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And now we have some more Canadian news. So Cat Canada is on the scene here in Nanaimo, where she spotted some pro-Palestine protesters outside of Justin Trudeau's end of caucus retreat meeting.
Free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Call on to
All right. They are relentless. They are also there. You can see it's at nighttime, but then they're there during the day as well.
200,000 people killed! Justin, Justin, shame, shame! Justin, Justin, shame, shame! Killing kids is not a game! Killing kids is not a game! People, people, shame, shame! People, people, shame, shame! Killing kids is not a game! Killing kids is not a game!
And then you also had some politicians that were spotted either leaving that building or entering that building. So Cat Canada caught up with Liberal Immigration Minister Mark Miller and tried to ask him some questions.
Mr. Miller, any plans on reducing mass immigration in Canada that's currently wreaking havoc on our housing crisis, on our housing?
Sorry, who are you?
I'm just wondering about immigration.
Well, I'm wondering who you are. I mean, you just came up to me on the phone.
I'm Kat.
From what? You know, the news
From the
outlet?
from the counter signal.
Okay.
Anything
I'm glad to sit down with you and have a conversation, but it's 10 o'clock at night or whatever.
No, we don't have. Just a quick question. So, like, any plans to reduce immigration levels?
You'll be the first to know.
Okay, but
Okay. Hello.
do you care that it's wreaking havoc on our housing in Canada?
Is that a question or a statement?
It's a question.
It's a statement. I mean,
No, it's a question. Do you care that Canadians can't afford housing?
You said you were there last week.
yeah. Well,
Minister Miller.
There you go. I didn't want to admit that our immigration is causing massive barriers in the Canadian economy, such as housing shortages, and people are struggling. And a lot of that is attributed to our immigration policies. But of course, they don't want to admit that, right? Is that a statement or is that a question? It's a question. Well, I view it as a statement. That is such a weird and liberal way of answering things. And then you also have Cat Canada, who caught up with Anita Anand and tried to ask her some questions.
Do you have any plans?
Thanks a lot.
Do you have any plans
Take
to
care.
negotiate with the separatists in Quebec to maintain power for the Liberals? Just a quick question.
So, Anita,
Minister
the one
Anand,
thing that
do you have
I
any
think is now
plans
he's
to
really
negotiate
working on, like,
with the separatists in Quebec to maintain power?
He is, and you know what?
No
It's funny
answer.
though.
Why not answer? You have already been in a very visible coalition with the NDP. You are now in this weirdly new announcement of a coalition with the Bloc. Why not just talk about it? It doesn't make any sense. They only want to answer questions to the easy softball questions that the accredited media gives them. But when they're confronted on the streets to be on the spot, they are either incapable of answering or completely disengaged. And that's just not how our politicians should be. You work for us. I'm not saying that they should answer every single question every single day out on the streets. That would be absolutely mental. But you are outside of a Liberal retreat. It was finely presented. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't assertive. It was very soft. Cat Canada was not aggressive at all to ask those questions. And it was a very good opportunity to provide answers to what they obviously know the other side of the political spectrum. You're not going to get more Liberal voters from already Liberal voters. If you want to spread your policies, you might as well do that to a more conservative audience. And if it resonates with anyone, then they have the ability to go ahead and join your group of supporters. But that's not the case. They don't view it that way. They don't view it as an opportunity to speak to the cameras. They view it as maybe it'll be taken out of context and something bad could happen and I can't afford that. Well, yeah, they can't afford that. They are so bad in the polls right now. But on the flip side of that, we have Pierre Poilievre, who did a little bit of speech here. Let's take a look at one of his latest rallies.
We're going to approve nuclear power plants to supply clean energy onto our grid, and we're going to sign off on natural gas liquefaction plants to cool that gas down to minus 161 degrees, ship it to Asia to replace dirty coal-fired plants, ship it to Europe to replace Putin's dirty gas, and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. Bring it home! Bring it home! Bring it home! Bring it home! Bring it home!
Just a tremendous amount of support everywhere he goes. And there hasn't really been a time that I've seen Pierre Poilievre be confronted by your everyday person where he hasn't shown them the same respect that he would show any Canadians. But that doesn't work with Liberals. They want to ask, hey, what side of the polling are you? Are you for us or are you against us? Oh, you're against us. Oh, we're not going to answer you. It's just super disingenuous, and Canadians see right through it. And speaking of right through it, we have another video here by Immigration Minister who is admitting that the boom boom bad guy here who was plotting an attack in New York entered Canada June of 2023 through a student visa program.
Bonjour Laurence. Je vais juste commencer avec quelques mots. I've been getting questions about an individual that entered Canada and has been arrested in charges related to an attempt to cross the border for a terrorist plot. I can confirm that Mohammed Khan is a Pakistani national who entered Canada on May, or was issued a visa in May of 2023 and was given and entered Canada on the 24th of June of the same year, so 2023. This is all that I'll be commenting on this individual. Obviously, there are criminal charges pending. As politicians, as elected officials, in order to make sure the judicial process is not compromised, although we share the goals of the prosecutors in question, it's very important that we don't comment, and actually it's dangerous to comment any further. Any defense lawyer is looking at elected officials and their comments about this case, salivating at any comment that is made that could be seen as compromising the judicial process. This is something that any responsible politician needs to be aware of. It's highly careless of Pierre Poilievre and his team to be firing their mouths off again. Any defense attorney is looking at that and just chomping at the bit to be able to make that part of their process and perhaps even compromise the case. Mr. Poilievre has experienced prosecutors on his team. They should be counseling him to shut his mouth like any responsible politician in this case.
Yeah, there's nothing that Pierre can say that would have any legal repercussions. The Conservatives aren't the ones that let this person into the country. They're not the ones that allowed this person to be here. It was the Liberals. So Pierre is openly criticizing the failure of the Liberal government, which anyone and everyone is allowed to do and also encouraged to do by none other than Justin Trudeau, who has said that he encourages Canadians for lawful assembly. He encourages Canadians to criticize the government. Trudeau has said that in the past. Therefore, Pierre Poilievre is absolutely allowed to run his mouth, or whatever Mark Miller just said about that case. But now we're going to take a look at a mainstream media video here that's heavily criticizing Justin Trudeau, saying that he's in shit. He's in the deep waters right now. Here we go.
Amid sliding polls and significant political blows, the federal Liberal caucus retreat in BC starts Monday as the party figures out its next steps. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will face a fretful and strained caucus, with MPs looking for him to reveal his plan to address the political purgatory the party has endured for months. Over the summer, several Liberal MPs privately and publicly demanded a meeting with Trudeau after the devastating by-election loss of a Liberal stronghold in Toronto. All right, let's bring in Tom Mulcair, CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader. Tom, good to see you as always.
Good to be with you, Renee.
Now, the Prime Minister will be in British Columbia tomorrow with MPs looking for him to finally reveal his plan to address these dismal polling numbers that the party has endured for months. What do you think the plan is here?
Well, I think that one of the things he's trying to do is change the channel a little bit. We know that Mark Carney is one of those people who's been waiting in the wings for a tap on the shoulders if Trudeau decides to step down. So Trudeau's trying to get ahead of that. He's bringing Carney into the caucus meeting, which is clever. Carney got beat up quite a bit for not having run for Trudeau in the 2021 election. You might recall there was a phase where all of the Liberal pundits and people who were their mouthpieces on the air were, every time his name came up, he said, yeah, but when we asked him to run, he didn't. So Carney's playing it smart as well. He's showing his availability. He's going into the caucus meeting. As for Trudeau himself, I think that your setup was pitch perfect. I don't think there's any better way to say it, Renee. Trudeau is in trouble with his own caucus. He knows that. He's in trouble in the polls. He knows that. The fact that Singh walked out this week is no help. And there are two by-elections coming up on Monday, the 16th, the same day Parliament goes back. And those could have a determining effect on Trudeau's future. One of them, in Winnipeg, the Liberals aren't in. It's basically a fight between the Conservatives and the NDP. NDP has a strong candidate, The Conservatives are throwing everything they can at it. They'd love to grab it. They have a chance of doing that. In Montreal, that's going to be the exciting one. From all the information I'm getting, it's split essentially 30-30-30 amongst the Liberals, the Bloc Québécois, and the NDP. Conservatives, again, are not in that one. They're at about 10% in the door-to-door polling. So if Trudeau were to lose that one, it's a safe Liberal seat. It was David Lametti, the Attorney General's seat. If he loses that one, Renee, that will be huge trouble for Trudeau. So this is all against the backdrop of a very nervous caucus. And you know what? When you're a leader of a party, I talked to you a bit about that. You don't like it when your caucus is nervous. You like to have them buoyed up a bit, feeling good. Nobody, people are saying very open things. Wayne Long, MP, saying, look, we have no chance of defeating Poilievre if Trudeau stays as leader. So that's pretty tough stuff to hear from somebody who was a Liberal MP.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, a lot of people see former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney as a potential successor to Trudeau. Is there a chance he's not just there to help with a financial plan, Tom?
Well, I think a little bit like we were saying before. He's doing it a bit for the party and a bit to help Trudeau, because it does help Trudeau that he's there and it gets a little bit of pressure and change.
Yeah, he's going to be the singular person to try to change the entire brand image of the Liberal Party. As it stands right now, the trajectory that the Liberal Party is on without Mark Carney is down the shitter. They are tanking in the polls. They're getting worse and worse and worse every single day. They literally need to pull some Hail Marys, so to speak. And the Hail Mary that they're choosing is to bring on Mark Carney. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to successfully reshape the Liberal image. I don't think that he can possibly make it worse. And for normies that don't watch, these types of YouTube videos, or that don't follow the truth trail, right? The breadcrumb trail on X, that don't do their own research and watch content like this. Those that just click through the TV, right? Watch CTV, CBC, and that's it. They don't look for any other opinions other than what the mainstream media provides them. I think that those people, those viewers, those fence sitters per se, they view Mark Carney with a lot of respect, and they are the ones that are going to say, oh wow, Carney is a part indirectly of the Liberal Party. Awesome. Yeah, no, I like that, and that's going to get my support. So it's dangerous, but it's not going to be so successful to the point where there's any fear of danger. It's going to be beneficial for the Liberal Party. The question is how much, right? That's what everyone is kind of waiting to see.
Changes the topic a bit. But but at the same time, he's doing something for himself because he's got to show himself to be a Liberal loyalist first and foremost. You know, this is one extremely capable guy. He's very, very smart. You know, I hear some people try to dismiss him, saying, "Oh, he'd be like Ignatieff because he's never been in politics before." That'd be a serious mistake to compare Mark Carney to Michael Ignatieff, two totally different beasts. This guy grew up in the Northwest Territories, you know, very humble roots, went on to the most amazing jobs. And even today, Renee, he's got a top job at the United Nations on climate change and finance. So, I mean, this guy is the real deal in terms of these very important jobs that he's had over the years. And the Liberals, you know, are giving him a serious look. There are people in cabinet who are top-notch, think Chrystia Freeland, but every time anybody would talk to them in a debate or if they were trying to become the leader, they'd have to wear every single bad decision of Justin Trudeau. So I think that, you know, the idea of freshness comes with Carney, and we'll see what type of reception he receives. I don't know if the cameras are going to be allowed to be there when Carney is introduced, but I'd love to see what type of applause he gets from the caucus.
Is there a chance that...
And he was welcomed. He was welcomed with open arms. And I do actually have a video pulled up of Mark Carney talking. The first talk that he's given since officially being a part of the Liberal Party as a special advisor.
For our country, you know, the world is becoming a more dangerous and divided place. And at the same time, the global economy is being transformed. Every major economy is accelerating their energy transition, and being low carbon is becoming a key driver of competitiveness. We're just at the start of a revolution driven by AI in every sector, every economy, every company. We can no longer rely on the world's rules-based trading system. We have to become an essential trading partner. We can't win an industrial policy arms race. And in all of that environment, we have to grow, both in the short term and for the long term. We need real policies. We need solutions, not slogans, action, not indifference. And I was very pleased by the discussion in the room, the ideas and the energy of the members, and look forward to working with them to develop the strategy. And I look forward, and I may regret this, I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you. Look, well, first thing, I have a couple of simple rules. One, if Prime Minister of Canada asks me to do something, I will do it. I will serve to the best of my ability. Secondly, you know, I'm interested. I have some experience in these issues, and I'm interested in helping our country to grow. I'm interested in doing something, not being something. And this is a decisive time for our economy. These issues have to be tackled head on. And as I said at the outset, I'm honored to be part of this process.
That is something that Justin Trudeau does not have until right now, this type of loyalty. Someone to say, if the Prime Minister asks me to do it, I will do it. He's not even a federal MP. He's not even an MP. And he's a special advisor, and already he's swearing his allegiance to Justin Trudeau. No matter what, he's going down with the ship. That type of loyalty is what, I hate to say it, but what Justin Trudeau needs. Now, if he had that sworn loyalty by his entire cabinet, they might actually be in a better position. But there's been such massive, instrumental amounts of miscommunication and disagreements within the Liberal cabinet, and all this conflict and all the shuffling that happens and all the animosity that you can see on screen, right, from when they interact with each other, that they clearly have not had this level of loyalty to the cause, the Liberal cause, to Justin Trudeau, and rightfully so. I mean, it would take a crazy person to pledge their allegiance publicly like this to Justin Trudeau, the way that Mark Carney has just done.
Look, I think that the story for today and the task that I've taken on is it's a big task, it's an important task, but I'm a catalyst in a much broader effort of those members of Parliament in that room, effort of other Canadians. Look, these issues, those who really think about our future are increasingly seized with these issues. And the question is, how do you translate those to the best ideas, the best policies that are going to make real differences for Canadians? Right. Ah ouais. C'est une question, c'est pas une question d'être quelqu'un.
It's not a question of being someone. It's rather more important for me to do things, to help this process of creating an economic strategy for our country.
J'ai bien compris la question, mais
run?
la réponse reste.
Oh, I understood the question, but the answer remains the same. Again? Well, who manages the economy? The Liberal government? The Liberal Party created foundations for our economy for this decisive moment, but we need to increase, we need to act. It's time to build. We need to build the future. We need to build housing, we need to build a competitive society.
I think the fundamental, sometimes what happens with these issues around is that the focus misses an important other aspect, which is that, as I said a moment ago, being low carbon is going to be a determinant of whether we can create jobs, whether we can sell our products in the United States, in Europe, around the world. We have to help our companies become more competitive. There's a huge range of things that the federal government can do, many of which they are doing. Huge range of things that other companies, or sorry, the provincial governments and other stakeholders need to do in order for that to be the case. And we need to be clear-eyed about not the challenge, but the scale of the opportunity, because no country is in a better position for this. Make one last point. These issues around being low carbon, is an issue for our manufacturing sector. It's an issue for whether or not we're going to lead in information technology. It's an issue for whether we are going to retain our ability to trade into the major markets. And we are best placed of any country in the world to do that, but we have to be clear-eyed about it and move forward.
There is no possible way, like he is so freaking delusional to think that attaching himself with this full allegiance to a party that is projected to get 77 seats, that is going to have the shittiest amount of votes between the Bloc Québécois, which isn't even, they don't even deserve to be a federal party. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but it's a provincial party that has said, no, we're going to be federal. And the government was like, okay, I guess so. You don't see a Bloc Alberta, a Bloc BC. It's freaking weird that there is a Bloc to begin with, but nonetheless, the Bloc is going to get more votes than Justin Trudeau. The NDP, Jagmeet Singh, who sold out this country and held 41 plus million people hostage, is going to get more votes than Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau's going down in the polls, and for Mark Carney to use his normie reputation to attach himself to such a horrible cause. Our economy has never been worse. Things are so unaffordable. Groceries, gas, home heating, the prices of houses, wages haven't kept up with inflation in years. And Mark Carney says, no, we could do it. We could do it, Trudeau. You say jump, I say how high. It doesn't make any sense at all. I'd love to know down in the comments what you guys think about all this. Is Mark Carney freaking sick in the head? What the hell is his problem? Anyways, that's the end of the video. On your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys one last time, if you haven't yet, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.